Coming up on this edition of Upper Valley, Idaho, we'll show you one scenic view that brings in tourists from around the world.
Plus, one woman continues to learn new skills by starting a business from scratch.
Hello and welcome to Upper Valley, Idaho. I'm Adam Doan.
And I'm Kylie Benish. Thanks for being with us.
Just beyond Ashton in the Targhee National Forest, what sounds like thunder is actually one of Southeast Idaho's most scenic views.
Reporter Brian Muir gives us an inside look at the story of Mesa Falls and shows us what it is that's now bringing hundreds of thousands of people from around the world to visit the falls every year.
Located northeast of Ashton is part of the Caribou-Targhee National Forest is Mesa Falls. Sue McKenna, who has worked for Targhee for 12 years, told us all about it.
Mesa Falls is an amazing and awesome waterfall on the Henry's Fork of the Snake River. It's 116 feet tall. The lower falls are a mile further on down the road if you travel by vehicle, but you can also hike our nature trail, which goes out to an overlook over the falls.
Even though the falls themselves have been there for thousands of years, it hasn't been a place you could visit for very long. It took a lot of work to get it to where it is today.
Of course, Native Americans visited this probably for the same reasons we do for 10,000 years or more. But the first European American settlers was John Hendricks and his wife Clara, who homesteaded here in 1904. Between 1998 and 2001, the Forest Service rehabbed the building here with the aid of a lot of partners, the state of Idaho, the Idaho Department of Transportation, and Harriman Park. And the building is now back to its original glory.
As neat as the waterfalls may be, they are not the only thing to see or do while at Mesa Falls.
Of course, no one can ever guarantee you'll see a moose out there, but you could. You could see a grouse, and you will see aspen and kinnikinick and Pahoho lava at the very end where you overlook the lower falls.
While hundreds of thousands of people from all around the world come to see Mesa Falls each year, mostly on their way to or from Yellowstone, some more local residents come to visit the falls sometimes several times a year.
There's wildlife here, not really crowded. The visitor center is real nice. There's small animal displays. I guess during the summer there are a lot of osprey in here too. It's just a fairly well-rounded nature site.
Sue also shared with us how the falls is something that Idaho residents take pride in.
Usually they have visitors themselves and they want to show them this prized gem of Idaho, Mesa Falls. They want to show off Idaho and show them our beautiful waterfall.
And if you think you have missed your opportunity to see the falls this year, you might want to think again.
The falls themselves are never closed. If you can get here, you can come here. In the winter, of course, the road isn't plowed, so you'll have to snowmobile, ski, or snowshoe.
With the ice and snow, the formations around the fall in wintertime would be pretty spectacular. So I doubt there's a bad time of year to be here.
Sue said, if you haven't yet seen Mesa Falls, you of course gotta come.
Reporting from Mesa Falls and Targhee National Forest, Brian Muir, Upper Valley, Idaho.
Mesa Falls is run by both Caribou-Targhee National Forest and the Harriman State Park. Visitors pay only a small parking fee of $5 during the summer.
The scenic falls are a great place to bring your friends and family to hike, sightsee, and even camp throughout the year.
You know, I've never been to Mesa Falls.
I haven't either, but I'm hoping to go this next spring.
Yeah, that would be good. But our next story features one of my favorite places. According to the Forbes website, 60% of college graduates can't find work in their field. One Rexburg resident decided to put her degree aside to build something more with her career.
Reporter Jesse Weisman introduces us to a local business owner who shows us that life doesn't always work out according to plan. Sometimes it actually turns out better.
Someone once said that education is not preparation for life, but rather education is life itself. Stephanie Tarnansky earned a degree in childhood special education, but after graduation, she decided to take her career in a completely different direction.
I just wanted to help out with like college, and we had just gotten married, so I decided that I would start selling like designer jeans.
After having developed connections through a vendor that sold designer jeans in Utah, Stephanie formed her own way of helping out.
So I started with just like putting it on Craigslist, like getting it out as much as I could. And then I started advertising for like parties, and I started doing like different craft fairs. And so that's how I started, and it was just jeans. Eventually people were like, I want to come over, like I don't want to wait for a party or wait for an event. And so they were calling me to come to my house, and then I slowly started like adding things. Before long we had pretty much everything, and it was still in my house.
With her business growing, but room decreasing, Stephanie was faced with the decision to open up a store or stop the business altogether. Together, Stephanie and her husband came up with a plan.
He graduated in accounting and minored in business, so he's helped with like the setup of the business. We were just driving by one day and saw this space that it was available, and we're like, let's just try.
1 year later, the Jean Girl has blossomed into a successful business both online and in the store.
The Jean Girl's been a big success, and I think that's really awesome. And just whenever I think about it, I'm like, oh, I want to do something like that.
For me, it's like the excitement of like just knowing that I created it and seeing the success of it. I have a lot of joy in just knowing that I started this from like the very beginning and just watching it grow. And I mean, it's really hard, like just coming up with new ideas and being creative, and there's just so much work, like way harder than I ever thought it would be, but it's a lot more rewarding too.
Stephanie is happy to open up a new location in Idaho Falls this November, but for now, the 2 locations will satisfy her.
You know, I would be happy with just 2 stores, so I could just like manage both of them and it wouldn't be too much for me. But obviously, I mean, I would also be happy with growth.
Whatever her plans, we can expect great things from Stephanie and the Jean Girl.
I think it's amazing that she had a dream and a goal, and she started it, and she dreamed big, and it ended up being really awesome and working out for her. And to me, that's such an inspiration, because it kind of gives me hope of like, oh, any dreams I have, I can totally do it. I mean, she did it, so I can do it.
Stephanie teaches us that education is learning what you didn't even know you didn't know. Reporting from Rexburg, Idaho, I'm Jessie Wiesman, Upper Valley, Idaho.
The Jean Girl has store locations in both Rexburg and Idaho Falls. If you can't make it to one of the in-store locations, they have everything online.
You can visit their website at thejeangirlshop.com to keep up with the latest fashion trends. And I'm amazed at how someone so young can run and operate a business like this. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, she's really talented. But you know what? There's also another Rexburg woman who is always trying to find innovative ways to add classic vintage elegance to what other people consider old furniture. Laura Zollinger moved to Idaho with the hopes to one day open a shop where she could sell one-of-a-kind craft pieces that she creates herself.
And that dream has now become a reality with her shop, All Occasions. Ramon Tangiora shares with us why Laura's shop is such a success within the Rexburg community.
Located on one of the oldest streets in Rexburg, Idaho, is a shop where locals and out-of-towners alike can find vintage furniture and trinkets for their home. Laura Zollinger opened her shop All Occasions a little over 20 years ago with the hopes of creating one-of-a-kind treasures for her customers.
We want it to be like a vintage shop where it's a little mix of antiques and repurposed and a little eclectic, not your cookie cutter retail home decor store that everybody has. We want it to have one-of-a-kind pieces and eclectic pieces and just kind of a fun shop.
Before the recession hit the United States in 2008, Laura says she and her husband would build the furniture she repurposed, but after had to adjust to the market. Now Laura finds the pieces for her shop by regularly visiting estate sales and yard sales. People from all over come to see what new craft Laura has made. Some travel from as far as California to see what shabby chic vintage item they can add to their home decor.
I love doing this, and so having the store is a good outlet for me to do it, because really, who doesn't love going to estate sales and yard sales and finding great things? But I can't keep everything. So this is a good place for me to let everybody else find the treasures that I see.
In addition to the candles and rugs Laura buys to sell at her shop, Laura vends homemade jams and cornbread made by members of the surrounding community. She also has started carrying a line of soups that have been endorsed by Giada from the Today Show. There is not one particular item that sells more than the other. Laura says that her close friend Sherry Howard, who has been a longtime vendor at all occasions, has made pieces that have become some of the shop's staple items.
I met Laura a little over 20 years ago. I came in to see if she took consignment in her shop, and she said she did. So I brought in dolls, and I do make little quilts. And she said that she would sell them, and they've done really well. And one of the reasons I really like selling my dolls and quilts here is it gives me a creative outlet. I've always sewn since I was really little, and it gives me an opportunity to try new things with the dolls I make or the quilts.
Laura is always finding new vintage pieces for her shop that end up becoming a time-consuming craft project. Because she runs the store during the day, Laura has had to find time when the shop is not open to repurpose the items she has found. So, early mornings in her workshop have become a daily routine, which has been hard but rewarding at the same time.
I also decided that I wanted to have a piece of the pie. I didn't want to continually work for somebody else. So now I have worked so hard, harder than I've ever worked before, but never been happier, because this is such a great job.
Reporting from Rexburg, Idaho, I'm Ramon Tangiota, Upper Valley, Idaho.
All Occasions is located on Carlson Avenue in Rexburg.
And all of Laura's customers hear about her shop through word of mouth. In a world that's all online, Laura has never advertised through means of social media and still has had a successful business for more than 20 years. And coming up after the break, we take an inside look at one of Idaho's nationally acclaimed honey farms.
Plus, we'll show you how drug courts are helping locals face their addictions and change their lives.
The agency is a perfect solution for clients both on and off campus to be able to solve their digital and print needs for any project that they've got. The students are exceedingly creative. They have great talent they've learned in their classrooms. They prepare for each client's project by learning as much as they can about that client and about the project. They prove themselves having successfully done that by providing for you as their client a professional product, either a print product or a digital media product. Whatever your need is that you have to try to target the students at BYU-Idaho, ICOMM Student Media can successfully meet that need.
United Way is a very wonderful program. It helps the different individuals in our community.
You may not ever experience it yourself, but that family that does need that help at that time, it's immeasurable.
If you donate, you don't have to break the bank. You can just give a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way.
It's not a sacrifice. Whenever you give to someone else, you get it back.
So what is animal science? When most people hear animal science, they think of cowboys, butchers, or veterinarians. What they don't think is that animal scientists are, well, scientists. Due to the increase in population and the decrease in resources, animal scientists are tasked to produce more with less and to find new and innovative ways to produce food. Meat scientists. beef consultants, and research technicians all play a significant role in feeding the people of the world. Over 20,000 people died today from starvation, and 7.6 million more will die this year. Still, conditions around the world are predicted to deteriorate, even in America. Without the work done by animal scientists, the world will quickly realize a very grim future. But the future is bright. Why? Because animal scientists are, well, heroes. Be a hero, feed the world. Join animal science.
Our next story is about a 100-year-old business.
Cox's Honey is a family-owned business well known in Idaho and Utah. It's mostly known for its extremely popular clover and cream honeys. Our reporter Nick Christensen shows us what makes their honey so unique.
In 1880, one man in Orderville, Utah decided to turn his hobby into a business to provide for his family and community. That hobby? Beekeeping and honey making.
At the time, farmers kept their own bees. So honey was a product that the people wanted, but the only way they could get it is if they had bees of their own.
The business today is known as Cox's Honey Farms. After moving from Utah to Shelley, Idaho, DeLon Mills Cox and his son Orville continued to sell their product, and in 1946 built a honey stand near the freeway. The stand was unattended, however, because of their hard work in the honey farms, and a trust system was established at the stand.
Later on, built this honey stand, and Grandpa's serviced the area with this honey stand since about 1958.
Brent Cox is the president and CEO of the business today. He is the grandson of Orville Cox and loves that Cox's Honey is still one big family business.
It is a family business, and we are a fairly small family business, but we're able to create a living for about 10 different families and provide a pretty good living, I think. It's not anything that we'll ever get rich doing, but I think everybody that we have on board enjoys it and is happy.
Cox's Honey prides itself on being two businesses in one. Not only do they produce the honey, but they also package the honey and sell it to customers and distributors.
Being a producer packer allows us to handle the honey through its entire process. So we know where the honey came from, we know how it was handled when we got it, we know how it was treated while we stored it, and we know how it was bottled and how it was treated while it was bottled.
One product that Cox's Honey is well known for is its creamed honey. After honey is created, they accelerate the granulation process by putting it into one of their specialty mills that beats down the granules. Nothing is added or taken away from the product, as it is immediately packaged for distribution.
Here in southeastern Idaho, we produce clover honey. It's their main floral source. It takes roughly 1 million blossoms to make a pound of honey. So imagine how many flowers that is to make lots of honey.
One of their farms is located just outside of Firth, Idaho, but there are nearly 500 farms located in the state of Idaho alone. The bees reside in colonies and work constantly to create this delicious honey.
And so this colony is going to have honey in it and pollen and everything the bees need to survive the winter. Basically November, December, and the middle of January. We'll take these colonies that you see down to California on about the middle of January so we can pollinate the almonds. The farmers in San Joaquin Valley pay us to bring our bees and pollinate their almonds.
Brent said that this is lucrative for business because the bees nearly triple in size while in California. When the colonies return to Idaho in the springtime, they are very active and begin gathering pollen and creating honey right away.
At the end of June, the alfalfa starts blooming. And we have here in Idaho, we have yellow and white sweet clover, alfalfa, and Dutch clover that comes on. And that's basically the table honey that you eat, clover honey. They'll be in a clover honey flow for the entire month of July and about half of August. At that time, we'll start our harvest.
Brent said that his time spent with the company has been a blessing for him and has provided many great experiences for him and his family.
Beekeeping really is. It's a way of life. I'm happy because of it. I love to get out in the country, and when you're in a bee yard in the middle of the summertime, in the middle of a honey flow, and everything's quiet except for you can hear the humming of the bees. And imagine millions of bees in the air. It's one of my most favorite things in life.
Reporting from one of the many Cox's honey farms, this is Nick Christensen, Upper Valley, Idaho.
Cox's honey products are found in nearly 70 grocery stores in the state of Idaho alone.
Visit coxshoney.com to order some of their famous clover and creamed honeys.
The Cox's honey is unique and has refreshing flavors to offer their customers.
In Idaho Falls, one restaurant has been a unique and integral part of town for the past 15 years.
The old building has seen many other businesses come and go, but Brianne Jameson gives us a look at why the current business has been so successful.
The Snakebite restaurant in downtown Idaho Falls is locally owned and operated and has been running since 1994. The building itself, though, has been standing for about 106 years and has quite a history.
The Fogg brothers built this place, and they had a drugstore in the main building here in the main part. And one of the Fogg brothers is still here in the basement, haunting us. He hangs out, he won't leave. Still says it's his building.
Since then, the building has gone from one owner in business to another until Todd Thulian moved to Idaho Falls and bought the restaurant over 15 years ago.
When I moved into this town about 20 years ago, I used to work across the street at Mama Inez. And when I drove by here every day, I was like, I'm going to put a restaurant in that building someday because it just needs to be a restaurant. When I bought the Snakebite was kind of already established. You know, it had been in business for about 5 years. I was kind of leery about buying it because I didn't really want to pigeonhole myself. I think in the long run, I think it was the best decision I ever made was buying the Snakebite and running with that and sticking with the burgers and the salads and the chicken sandwiches and stuff.
Since opening the business, Todd has made it his own, not only providing a place for people to enjoy great food, but also helping local artists.
One of my waitresses' husband does some of the art over here on the walls, and that S and a couple other things he's done. And, yeah, we just try to help out the local artists as much as we can, you know, and hang stuff, and hopefully they can sell it. My mom's been a starving artist her whole life, so there's no way I would ever charge an artist for their art. I wouldn't charge them to sell it here.
So with a great history to build up from and a fun and interesting atmosphere established inside, Todd explains what it takes to make the most important aspect of a good restaurant: the food.
You know, it's busy. We get up early, we stay up late. If you're putting out really good food, which we do, you know, we're constantly making it every day. We have to prep our food every single day for every shift. I don't make food ahead of time, so there's a lot of work involved in keeping, you know, everything running. You know, just making sure that my orders come in, that I got what I ordered, and if I didn't, I have to go find it.
All that work is one that Todd and his family feel is a labor of love. Their dream is to make every customer come and feel like they're home. Because of that, the Snakebite restaurant has become one of the places you need to visit while in Idaho Falls.
What makes this place unique is that, sure, you can come in jeans and Levi's and a t-shirt and have a burger and fries, or you can come in on a date night, dress up, and have, you know, a nice steak dinner or a nice salmon fillet. So, you know, that was my idea, to give people a place they could go and hang out, have a good meal, and relax. Forget about the stress of outside that door.
While traveling around in downtown Idaho Falls, an unforgettable meal is only just around the corner at the Snakebite restaurant. Reporting from Idaho Falls, this is Brianne Jameson, Upper Valley, Idaho.
The Snakebite restaurant has a wide variety on its menu, so there may be something for every craving.
Now, on a more serious note, some cravings are far more dangerous than others. Our next story shows us what happens when we let a simple craving get the best of us. The war on drugs is a constant battle we face in America, but drug courts are proving to be a solution for just about everyone.
More importantly, the program is helping addicts overcome their addictions and re-enter society. Taylor Holman gives us an inside look at the recovery of one Rexburg resident.
John Morton, I'm 35, I'm from Arizona. I work at Taco Bell as an assistant manager, and I'm in the drug court program.
Every day, people are taken off the streets and put into prison because of drug offenses. Unfortunately, most of them never have the chance to rehabilitate their lives. Luckily, here in Idaho, we have that option through drug courts and give people like John Morton a chance at life again.
Probably at that age, I wanted to be accepted. I was a little overweight, and I just wanted to be accepted, wanted to be cool, and wanted lots of friends. The first time I smoked marijuana, I was 8 years old.
I think I was in denial for a long time, you know. They called at school once and they thought from school and said, the vice principal, I think it was, and said, you know, we think that John might be involved in drugs because he has a lot of money in his wallet. And I said, he just got paid from his job. That's why he has a lot of money in his wallet. I just didn't think that that could be a problem with him.
My first hard drug would have been cocaine, and it was in between junior high and high school with a buddy of mine, and I never thought, oh, this is gonna lead me to the crackhead life or whatever, you know, to being on the streets or whatnot. I never thought that. It was always, I've got control over it, you know, but you don't.
Well, one of the keys, I think, to John's progress was the fact that he was able to find a good job and that we had an employer in our community that was willing to hire him. And we are really grateful for the employers in our community that give the people in drug court a second chance and give them an opportunity. In John's case, you know, he'd been showing signs of progress, but it was really when he got a job that he started to excel in the program. And I think he began to see within himself the potential that a lot of other people, especially his family members, saw in him, and yet he never quite realized.
This last time, when he went to his treatment program, I decided, you know, it's not working to just ignore the problem, you know, to just be glad he's in there and I don't have to worry about him. So I decided I'm going to try a different tactic, and I thought I'm going to write him every single day. And so I wrote him every single day while he was in jail. It made a difference to me because I realized how much I loved him, you know? So I think that was a changing point.
One of the keys to the program is that we test them randomly 3 times a week. So, I mean, we trust them, but we verify it.
The most effective part of drug court to me was just having the structure of, you know, having to UA have to call in every day and see if there was a UA, and that kind of kept me on my toes, you know, to make sure that I was doing right. I knew right away I couldn't mess up.
They're important programs to the state because of 2 reasons. One is that they work, and 2 is that they save money. Sometimes the choice between probation and prison doesn't give us enough options to really have the punishment fit the crime and to also focus on rehabilitation, which is in society's best interest. If we can rehabilitate people rather than just incarcerate them, they become productive citizens, they become tax-paying citizens, they raise good families, and that's really the end that we're seeking.
I needed the drug court once I got off the rider to keep me sober on the streets, and it helped. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it without it. My dreams are the white picket fence and the house and the toys, and I want to keep moving up at Taco Bell, and I want my girls living with me, and you know, get that house.
I'm Taylor Holman in Rexburg, reporting with Upper Valley, Idaho.
Many, like John, graduate from the drug court program after a year. John continues to work at the local Taco Bell in Rexburg and is on track for upper management, but says that he is first and foremost a loving father.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Upper Valley, Idaho.
We hope you continue to enjoy all the gems that Upper Valley has to offer. We'll leave you with some of the sights and sounds of Eastern Idaho. Thanks for watching.